Okay.
Okay.
Welcome.
Welcome to your galactic transmission. It's about 24 hours after the conjunction and talking about the sun conjunct the galactic center. So we're moving forward with like a bit of pace, I think, that we've kind of had the last few days to kind of start bringing some of the energy in. And now we're kind of like relaying, and we're just going to run forward now and keep going with the energy that's coming through the galactic center. Jasmine, do you want to say a little bit more?
Yes, I just feel like by connecting to this energy will help bring in whatever information is contained within the center of the galaxy, because at the center of each galaxy is a much higher form of an Akashic record, in a sense. And by us accessing that information, not only do we bring this information into the earth plane, but we connect and create this space in which we can continuously flow this energy, flooding our planet with knowledge and with light.
I'm going to wave through some intentions. So what I have in front of me is a sun disk that I used yesterday in sun gazing during the conjunction, and 3 crystals that I left under the sun during the conjunction and overnight and all today. So today it's, well, right now, I mean, it's 20 past 2 in the afternoon here in Australia. And I've just brought these things inside to help us kind of attune to the energies that I think that they're going to be sort of coated with and infused with some of the galactic energy from yesterday when I was outside creating a soul key. And I have some footage of the conjunction sort of exact time with just some light codes there for a video, which I'll share as well. But this for now is for us to integrate, bring it through, while Jasmine maybe guides us with some goodies from the center.
Yes, a meditation that I was shown. It'll be a channeled meditation. And to further kind of understand these energies coming in, I drew some cards from my Galactic Heritage deck, because oftentimes the different races, in a sense, or the different beings that are connecting with us will speak through this deck. And I've pulled the pulse of life, the galactic core, to represent the energy we're bringing in, and so we could further connect with it. And then the next card that came out was leaving home, the Essassani. They exist in a parallel domain to our existence.
And we talked about us feeling comfortable leaving, right?
Yes, I feel like this card is speaking about being comfortable in knowing how to leave this container of safety, in a sense, so that we can be able to travel in many different ways through these parallel realities. And also I saw it speaking of the meditation I had seen of us leaving our body, in a sense, to be able to view the galaxy and our planet from a higher perspective. And then I got the Pleiades coming through in this present moment, talking about refining our galactic lineage. And so from the Essassani showing me us leaving our body to observe the galaxy from a higher view, I saw the Pleiadians speaking of us connecting to the center, the galactic core, and accessing that galactic knowledge within, and thus refining it through the stream that we're creating. Yeah, through connecting with it and bringing it here to this plane. And then the next one I got was the Orion light in the future. And that by us establishing this connection with this information in the center of the galaxy, that we will further assist in bringing true compassion for all in this existence, because by doing that, that is what will help us to fully ascend, when we all have this true compassion from the knowledge that we receive. All right. And then this next one, I pulled it from a regular tarot deck just to further speak of the energies coming through, to see what we could elaborate on.
Mm-hmm.
And I got the Seven of Cups, and it shows a man going over a bridge. And I see that as it's saying that by us connecting with this information, we're creating a bridge that we can go over and find our own freedom. That the cups here on the bottom represent what we once thought were the opportunities for us, the old ways, but seeing that there are more opportunities in other places, and for us to cross that bridge and find our own true freedom in that. So,
which the last card really drives home, that message.
yes, it does. It really, really does. And then I got the Two of Cups, and I feel like that is speaking on us coming together in that true compassion in the future, and sharing from full cups with those around us. And though, as on the Four of Cups, there will be some difficulty in learning to leave the old ways, we will still have all that opportunity around us to really create something new and beautiful with this information. And it's learning how to see it and understand it, and see that there is opportunity in this, and to not despair.
Absolutely.
Yes. And so basically we'll be, I guess, at a crossroads. We'll be given the choice of where we go next with this information.
Massive. It's what we've seen in the astrology, I think, for the last half of the year, where Pluto's squaring the nodes and giving us, a lot of people are referring to that as a karmic choice point. And I think we can see that, what within ourselves and what within our relationships are we like transforming deeply, like we were talking about the old lineages, letting go of the ones that we were thinking, like that Seven of Cups card. There were all of those opportunities that sort of served us to a point, and now we're traversing a bridge and being offered a Two of Swords opportunity, a Two of Cups opportunity to take choices and make connections, and disregard in the Four of Cups those three cups that are laid out, and empty the old opportunities, and hopefully being alert and aware by energy like this of that cup that's coming in, that full cup that's on that cup, Four of Cups card, that we have opportunity incoming. And it's beautiful that the cards that I just happen to have turned over in the Rebecca Campbell deck that I have, the light work, is the Initiation card, a rite of passage and crossing the threshold. And then there's Sedna again. She's a beautiful divine water being. And the note on this card is infinite supply. So,
oh my God, it looks a lot like Sedona. Oh my goodness. It does,
doesn't it? Yes, she's beautiful, her story. Sedna. The mythology there is pretty powerful, and very telling. So do you want to go forward with a star card on the bottom of the deck that just sits there? Do you want to take us through a meditation and connect in and see what energy you can bring through for us?
Yes.
When you're ready for that?
Yeah. Let me drink a little water.
Good idea. So my intention with the vortex is to support Jasmine as she weaves through the energies. I'm going to be anchoring it with a spine from a fish that I found on a local beach that has a lot to say, a small fishing village that faces the biggest sand island in the world that we have where I live. It's very close to us and it's quite a powerful piece of land. So the fish spine is from the beach there, and I'm going to use that to draw in the frequencies that Jasmine brings through, and then use the cosmic vortex to anchor them onto the plate that's soaked with the sun from the conjunction, and just amplify and bring through what Jasmine brings through for us.
Okay. Okay, guys. I'm going to use my gong to help amplify and balance the energies.
Beautiful.
See if you can hear it.
It's very quiet.
Okay. Then I have a 528 hertz tuning fork and a 432 hertz tuning fork. And this helps not only balance the hemispheres, but just the toroidal field around you. Era shu tara ai ka tria shu o tri ai tria shakaya no ai tre nareshi ia narea no ko o shatai. Okay, so we're going to close our eyes, start to focus on the area within our heart, and breathe into that 5 times. Breathe slowly in the nose and then out the mouth, and focus that breath into the heart and then out, into the heart and then out. Okay. With each out breath, is begin to expand a light from the center of your heart and blow it up like a balloon. See it begin to encircle your body with each out breath. And once you are sitting within a golden light, a bubble of golden light, then with your mind's eye, begin to see the sun as if it's right in front of you. Feel its warmth and its light upon your face. And let that light begin to travel from the very top of your head, slowly down to your face, your ears, the back of your head, going down through your neck and into your shoulders, down your arms, the very tips of your fingers. You feel the warmth traveling down as well. We bring that light down further into our heart, our chest. Feel the warmth of the sun illuminating our hearts, filling our chest with light. And we bring it down further to the solar plexus, activating that, seeing the light shining forth from that area, from your solar plexus. And down to the sacral, down to your root and your hips, and down your legs, all the way to the tips of your toes. Feel yourself being the sun, connected. And as we sit within this warmth of this sphere, of this being, we then begin to extend a stream of light from the sun, from us, sending it all the way to the center of the Milky Way, of our galaxy, seeing it connecting from the Earth to the sun to the center of the galaxy, forming a sort of triangle. This light is streaming from our heart to the center of the galaxy. Then we begin to follow that stream, letting it take us into the center of the galaxy. Connecting, connecting, connecting. Oh, será una o tu usakia tria a tu quieres a tu a cariati ia al rusaka morosi. Era notra kaya tu oria tria shikia hia tu otrisha tria ai tria na ia. We have now connected with the center of the galaxy. Sit within this space, letting your thoughts just pass by, becoming utter awareness. There is no good, there is no bad. It just simply is. We are just awareness, simply being aware within this space. It is from this space that we can access all of the knowledge contained within this space. This is a creation point from where we can create whatever reality we want. And as we sit here within this space, within the center of the galaxy, connected to all of this knowledge, we begin to focus again on our hearts, the warmth of the sun that's emanating from it. Shining our light within this center, filling it with golden light until every area is illuminated with this light, the light of the sun that comes from our hearts. And we shine forth gratitude. Think of that which you are most grateful for, and let that energy issue forth from your heart with this light in the center of the galaxy. Just feel it and be with it and breathe. You may feel a throbbing from your solar plexus. This is a sign that you have connected, that we have established the flow from the earth to our sun, the center of the galaxy. The star Alcyone in the middle. Now that we have connected, we will always have access to this area, to the center of knowledge. It is likened to an Akashic records of sorts, but on a grander scale, where more knowledge will be available to us, to you, at any time and space. Now we're going to bring our awareness back to our bodies. We're going to travel back down the stream from the center of the galaxy back to the sun, feeling its warmth enveloping us once again. And then from there, on a breath, we travel back to the atmosphere of the earth, through the stream of the golden light. Then from there, we see ourselves above our homes. We come back down and we see ourselves, we see our bodies sitting wherever we are. And we slowly begin to descend back into our bodies, all the way from the top of our head, down our face, our ears, the back of our neck, down into the chest and the shoulders, the arms and the tips of our fingers, down to our torso, our belly button, our hips, down our legs into the tips of our toes. And we begin to wiggle our fingers and our toes, shake out our bodies and become aware of them again. Yara nora ta kiara na tarea su alarea tu yatria ni yara no katrea si yatria tarea no tarea la tu sai irenia alara tu o trai katria ayatu o shatria na tare ayatu suku trai yeshi ati ai iren yara tu o shakaria na. I'm seeing these streams, energy being woven into the tops of our heads and down into our body, creating a strong link to that information.
We need to know our scope. We need to know how far our reflection will cast and understand the power of that scope. And we need to work within that light.
Yes.
We need to trust that we can work where we can, even if it's not in a way that we expected. That reflection from our heart and the people that it immediately touches are the ones that we are supposed to be doing that for. Whatever the scale, trust that we will be effective.
Yes. For it's in that trust where we will find our way. Always, always, always. I was holding a magnetic hematite while I was doing that, and I could feel it drawing the energy down like the center of a torus.
Coming in through the spine here into the vortex here in the southern hemisphere. As I wove during that meditation, anchoring that all the way through to everybody who watches this and sharing that power eternally, that particular weave of this exercise.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we do with our pole play, playing with the poles and working together in the field that is Gaia and Gaia's field. And we work magnetically.
With harmonic magnetism.
Anchoring these things through. And that was an extremely powerful activation and remembrance for what we can do here, I think.
Yes, it was. I felt like a very ancient and old being who was helping to facilitate this movement and this connection. I felt it really come through and move this information and this light and this knowledge through that established link through every one of us. It was really quite powerful. I still am feeling the effects.
So more of the conscious intention that I was bringing through in the weaving was, as we go through that process and as we go through the transition here, that is extremely painful for a lot of people. Weaving in ease, comfort, nourishment, and nurturing is.
Yes, and gratitude, appreciation.
Gratitude.
Yes. That all over warm, fuzzy feeling of love.
Right. Bringing that as a sense of respite for the hearts everywhere right now who are feeling the heat of turmoil and destruction. If we are not ignorant to these things, but to supply them with deep love, loving kindness, ease, comfort, nourishment, and nurturing to anybody who is open to receiving that.
True compassion. Um, did you want to pause it for a second?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But we'll just have a regular conversation.
All right. So we had to take a break between that weaves and exchange the water out in our vessels. We had to change the water over. And we
put it in the freezer?
No, I meant change the water over in our human vessels because we both went to the bathroom and drank more water. We needed to flush because it was pretty cool and intense. But we just came back and we were talking about what we could see through the meditation and how we were visualizing it. And Jasmine, do you want to talk about what you were able to see?
Yes, I wanted to speak more on, I guess, I'm getting the no card.
Yeah, don't worry about that. I just heard the same thing. So it was like, don't let her. I was like, okay, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. All right. Anyway, it was beautiful.
Yeah,
Sorry.
there was an established energy for sure, and it's still
Yeah.
flowing throughout. And
So we just need to wait for that. Was the directive that we both got that we're not going to go into what that is, and that's okay. But
I think it's because there's an integration period that has to
yeah,
happen first, because it is such a massive energetic stream. It's such a massive, massive
yeah.
energy. And so we
So we'll
have to
allow
allow
that to
time.
come through, which is
Yeah.
okay. We can do
Yes.
that. And while we were on our water break, I just was playing with the cards, waiting for Jasmine to come back, and it's the Butterfly Maiden transformation. You're experiencing enormous change right now, which brings blessings, which brings great blessings. And the Empress card came through as well. And again, the initiation, and suffice it to say, yeah, that was the few that just kind of come through, which that popped up before as well, before we started. The initiation card. And
Yes. And let me see. I'm feeling guided to pull a couple more too. Hold on.
yes, Jasmine
Yeah.
opened us with a great theme that sort of looked like what we were moving into. It was kind of like a trailer for the experience that we just got there, was the sequence of cards that Jasmine showed at the start.
Yes.
So not
It really
surprising,
looks
that's
like a
how it
trailer.
works.
That's funny. All right. Let's see what we get. There's so many cards in this deck. It's a
They
lot
can
to
get
shuffle.
hard to shuffle.
Yeah. Oh, I got the Pleiades.
The Pleiades, of course.
In the present moment, seeking karmic balance.
Exactly. So that karmic balance is what you and I are constantly trying to achieve through working with the poles like this. We've been doing this since before solstice, before the June solstice, working together and with others as well, but working together primarily throughout this period of time as we are coming towards the last section of this particular solar cycle. Beautiful.
Yes.
And Andromeda, of course.
We're creating a new paradigm through this connection that we create in the middle of the vortex, the middle of this energy. And we just create
Yeah.
a sort of like the center of a galaxy,
Yeah.
this creation point.
This is a conscious sort of nexus point that we've been working in and activating together, bringing our energies and the energies of others in for the last 6 months. We are creating a sphere of consciousness and intention that we work with these poles to do that. We work together to create this bubble together and maintain it and man it or woman it, woman that like toroidal field that we have been working through um, for this time. And this is to create a sort of emanating consciousness as we expand and bring our intention greater and greater into this new mesh and this new wave and the new paradigm, as we're weaving these particles, these light particles, into cosmic threads of intention and joining them into the highest dimensions and grounding them through Gaia and through the experiences that we have here and the ancestry that's come through the vessels that we now occupy to do this job. We've done this job time and time again. We've done this through many waves, and we've done this through many initiations, and we've done this through many lineages as well. And we now are in a position where we don't have connections to our earth lineages for different reasons. You and I personally, specifically, I'm talking about. And the same is true for many of us across the planet, losing connections to the direct lineages that we have in the DNA in the vessel that we are occupying right now. And a lot of us are being initiated into other lineages. And I think that that's a beautiful thing, and it's a beautiful part of the synthesis. But Jasmine, you and I specifically haven't really worked too closely with that process. So a lot of it is you and I are burning up the DNA that we have and looking at what we just have that's coming through our own knowing and our own personal self-initiation. And that is where we happen to be, and that is how we're doing what we're doing, is because this is such a synthesis of a personal experience and personal remembering and personal sort of, the work is so personal, and there's no greater initiation that we've experienced. And it's
we're literally redefining sovereignty in a sense.
Yeah, it does. And it feels hard, like the Four of Cups card, it feels hard to let go of that aspect of not honoring the known lineages, or not honoring expectations to a certain degree, things that held us up into this point that we were just talking about before. We're held up to a certain point by those old things, but now it's kind of like, I'll make my way from here, like the trope of the man lost in the woods, not asking for help or whatever. It might feel like that, but there's this aspect of self-initiation, and it's not the same as this individuated culture that we kind of get reflected or shown or seen. So I don't think that we should shy away from our self-initiation processes that we do for ourselves. And I think that's a big part of it. We don't all have access to, shamans and a great amount of money with where a lot of these lineages that people are sharing, who are making their way and they're living by doing that and sharing that. Not everybody's got access to that. Not everybody's got access to a shaman. Not everybody's got access to great plant medicine and ayahuasca journeys and things like that. Like, some of us are just here in the backyard trying to get on with it and still feed children and go through this like incredible process where it's like extremely beautiful, but it doesn't look like a lot of other things are looking. It doesn't look familiar because we're going through these processes internally. I'm trying to dig that up. Sorry, that was a big tangent, but it felt important to.
No, it is,
why we do what we do in this way.
Yeah, we're redefining our roles in the world. We're creating new ways forward. And of course, it's going to create confusion or even fear of, is this the right thing? But as long as we follow the compass of trust in our heart, we will always find our way. And just know that by going forward, you are, in a sense, honoring your ancestors and your lineages, but you're no longer held by the expectations and the roles and the responsibilities that come with that.
Yeah.
Because by stepping out of that, we're literally creating a new way forward, the new earth. We're creating.
We were closing out those karmic cycles. You did that. You worked through that in something you were doing just a few months ago. That was a big part of the experience you were having and integrating for us. was those karmic cycles closing out that we saw happening. And that was for everybody, you know, like that was taking place for all of us to do that. We all felt that.
Yes. Yes. Because it does. It's a journey that does take courage.
Yeah.
But when you follow that courage, it's like it just creates more new growth. I don't know. And just that
Yeah.
curiosity. It's only when we follow that curiosity will we make change,
Yeah.
true change. I did. I noticed on the card, the new paradigm, the Andromeda one, it's got two people on opposite sides.
Again, yeah.
Connecting. Yeah. Isn't that interesting? I hadn't noticed that. I was like, oh my goodness.
I think it was
Creating.
equinox we were getting Andromeda coming through,
Yes.
wasn't it?
Yes. And then they started coming through strong again when I first came here in Sedona, probably
Mm.
because of the vortex energy.
Yeah. So that was the lineage that showed me to this, was coming in from Andromeda when we were just talking about what we were talking about, the facets of our origin, our light origin, breaking up over various spheres as we're coming in to get all the way to Gaia. We're kind of breaking up that
Yeah.
original light energy and leaving facets of ourselves through these spheres, like as in the galaxies and the planets, is what we're talking about with that, like the light is
Yes.
coming through
Fractals. We're
and
fractaling.
fractaling and refracting and all of that stuff. And so when I was having the remembering of the Andromeda light that was coming through and fragmenting and stopping at Alcyone and seeing this Lemurian like technology of doing this with what I have here, the water and the vortex, and using instruments to spy, like this is literally a fish spine, so it's a creature from the water and their spine, and then there's a shell or a sun disk in here, and this anchors through intention. And I've done it with smoke as well, backflow incense, to bring that through, but this today was using your light language to anchor through, come in and recycle and continue through that toroidal field that we have established. But this is to represent that and help with that. So that's what the Andromedan lineage showed here, was basically a quick transit stopover at Alcyone and picking up a few of these things. And I've recently written that article about like the blog post about the soul souvenirs, so that our souls are getting sort of duality into introductions on Alcyone and coming in through that yin yang duality motion, and then throwing off these kind of trinkets and soul souvenirs and memories for us that our highest self from Alcyone will cast down over the wave that we're on here in the timeline of Gaia. And we have all of these little trinkets and things that we remember as we grow and as we go through our human experience, because it's such a long time for us here, but from that perspective there, it's just been, you know, mere moments that we've kind of come down and incarnated on earth. And so our highest self is tossing us these soul souvenirs to continuously remind us, and they come to us in the form of things that we just can't quite put our finger on, but for some reason they speak to us. So it might be a trinket literally, or an image, or it might be a symbol, or it might be a certain crystal, or it might be a
It's like,
certain item that just speaks to
yes.
us, and it's to jog our memory and bring us back. And anyway, thanks for listening
It's
to my
making
TED
me
talk. That's what that was.
it's making me think of something I did with Natalie Nadine recently, and we had as a group went and discovered these chests, and we all opened these chests, and they all contained something in there that we had left
Beautiful.
behind. Yeah, and the one that I had gotten was a cloak.
Beautiful.
That's what it
Have
made
you
me think of.
have you gone with what that feels like yet? Or does that feel like it'll be something that'll take a while to kind of reveal itself?
I think it
whatever
is
the
now in a sense, but slowly,
yeah,
because I was seeing it as Toth
yep,
putting a cloak on, like
yep,
regaining a piece of himself or something that had been
yep,
left behind, but is also a piece of myself as well. And
yep,
so, yeah, I feel like it is manifesting, but not all of it has yet. Not all of it
yep.
has come to light just yet.
I look forward to hearing that. That sounds really interesting. Like we've talked about him before taking different forms, haven't we? Like we were talking about that um syncretism, the like cross pantheon stuff, like the energy taking forms and cloaking through different timelines and different civilizations and different cultures and coming through in all of these different ways. But it's that same energy essentially that's
Yes, and you know what
being
it's
that's
making
coming
me
in.
realize? It's because I am, and everything that I've gone through in this journey and where I'm at now, I'm taking on a new form in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a piece of knowledge that had been stored away just for this moment.
Right.
Now dawn and wear and remember
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
let it, transform me in a sense.
Yeah. And take form in you and under that cloak and who this will be. And that's really interesting. In the shower recently, I had the remembering, this is like an inverted, this is the polarities and the way that this works with us. Is
Hmm.
I had a remembering recently, like it's almost like I went straight back to who I was when I was like 19, just before I started having children. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually the same person. It is still that person. It's not a different one. I'm still the same being. And it wasn't like it wasn't like a big parenting like issue or anything like that. It was just a remembering that it is the same face, it is the same being, it is the same vessel through all of these transitions. Like as much as we change and transform and cloak and things like that, it is that energy that's persistent. It is that same being or
Like
that
the
toast
inner
like we were
child.
talking about. It's yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like the inner child that we still all
Yeah.
have. Just
Yeah.
yes.
We do stay there. There is that eternal element of us that's there. We can be all of those things and morphing through those different situations, those different circumstances, but it's still essentially that same essence light in the heart that we carry and who
Yes,
we are. It's really beautiful.
that is beautifully said too. Like, thank you.
Mhm. Thank you for bringing it all through for us. I'm really, yeah.
We both did. Definitely. We both did. I was bringing in the energy and you were weaving it and anchoring it in.
Yeah, and that's how we work. And, like we were just talking before we started to do this about like, it's such like a membrane, right? It's like you can see everything right there. It all makes sense, but for whatever reason in this form, it becomes hard to articulate. And it's like, one, I don't want to say it because I know you already know it. And two, I don't want to say it because I'm not going to be able to say it. These words and this language is so limiting, but it's like all we ever were worried about was this one thing, this way that we're this goal. It's like all it's about is just being in this moment and experiencing this divinity and this unity consciousness. And it's like this earthly scrambling to how to do that and how to achieve that. And we know that we can do that by just being in the I am that is everything. And we know that. Um, but we're here for such a long time as humans, and we go through these little levels of this video game, and we go through these little phases and sequences of trying to achieve that and come up with new ways to achieve that, when we know that it is the stillness and the oneness and the everythingness and that open channel from our hearts to unity consciousness and source. But we just, because we're human and we're creative and we're spending such a long time here on earth, we're looking for all these fun ways to do this. And And I think that that's playful and it's fun to be able to do that. And like, we don't have to take ourselves so seriously. I know I don't, but it's fun to be here, and it's fun to look at all of these ways, because this is the infinite supply that we have, that Sedna was just showing us. This is the infinite experience, and we're having these things in contrast. But it's just, yeah, it's a fun way to be. It's a fun thing to do. Like, this is the human experience, like finding all of these ways to do this and remember this. And we can remember it 1,000 ways, and we can see it in 1,000 stories, and 1,000 dreaming stories, and 1,000 creatures and plants on the earth. Like, there's just infinite pathways back to source.
Yes, yes, and it all leads back to the same destination.
Yeah,
It's a really beautiful, intricate web.
it is. And let's illuminate as many of those threads as we can. Like, that is what authentic expression is. That is what we're doing. All of these crazy ways that it's like, yeah, it's exciting to do that, to just
It
find
is.
to
And to
weave.
remember that we are all those pathways and all those,
Yeah,
all the everything within our environment. It's all us.
it is. It's us. That mesh, that whole thing is us. It's
Just to sit with the profound realization that we are everything all at once, just expressing itself in many different ways.
mm.
It's just beyond words. It's profound.
Do you know, like, because I'm such a fanatic of analogies, it feels like this, because I'm seeing this, it blew in front of me before when we were talking. And it's like, this is the oneness, this is the mesh, the entire mesh that we are, in this form, because this is what we're conceiving of in the third dimension, is form, right? And we see ourselves, and we know that this piece of the cloth over here is the same as this piece of the cloth over here. There isn't a distance, there isn't a space between. It is all the same thing, and it's compacted and compressed. And the thing that seems to show that the most is, if I think of something like oil. If I were to drop oil on here, that oil would eventually expand and cover the entire piece, right? Like this thing. I know this is a strange analogy, but you can just imagine pouring oil onto here. It would bleed through every thread and every fiber. And that's what we have with this, like, Christ consciousness is one example of that oil. Spreading and spreading all the way through that, and each of those fibers are going to catch light and be able to hold the light and find itself, and remember that this is the original thing. This is the one piece of consciousness, and this is the one thing that we are, is all one. But
Yes.
all the wrinkles and folds in time just
Make it gives the illusion of distance and separation.
distance and separation, but it's one thing. We're just compacted in this little galaxy that we just went through and visited. We've passed through that black hole and compressed and compacted, and that's what happens when we pass through. Like, apparently, that's what goes on.
Yeah.
Not that
Yeah,
the
no, that's a really good
timeline is
analogy.
passed through one, but you know what I mean.
It's a really, really good analogy. It honestly is, because yeah, that's the best way to describe it. Like,
Compacted.
yes, yes.
So what becomes up to us is, in that little thread that we exist within, in the form that we exist within, let's go together and oil ourselves up and feel the sun, that anointing of the sun, and remember that we're the salt in the earth, and these cosmic waters are holding us as spirit comes through our spoken word and intention, and our sacred breath of life, and all of these things weave together in this beautiful cosmic patchwork woven delicious experience. I'm happy to
Yes.
be here.
You're reminding me of something I had gotten not too long ago of moving through the spheres and these different bodies,
Hmm.
and that's how it basically, as in a sense, astrology came to be, because once we separated from source, we just kept coming down and
Hmm.
fractaling and coming through these different spheres and becoming these bits of of consciousness that
Yeah.
just kept coming down. And as we traveled down into a denser and denser reality, it's like the planets and these solar bodies began to weave us closer and
Yeah.
closer together, and we picked up the bits of energy from each of these bodies, and and that all came down
Yeah.
into the vessel that we have now, bringing
Yeah.
those bits of those vibrations, thus creating personality and
Yeah.
different traits that we all have or are born with or bring with our souls. And so by us remembering just how interconnected we are through that system is literally like us following the threads of the web back
Yeah.
to source all the way
That's
up.
right. Yeah, I really feel that. Wow.
Yeah.
Beautifully said. Really
Mm.
beautiful. So easy to follow that analogy, that symbolism, and that visualization, when you put it that way. It's just incredible. It reminds me of I don't know if you know her, Eve Rose. She's an incredible Irish writer and activist, and she had the most beautiful piece of poetry that spoke of that similar sort of symbolism that we start through like a single tear, and fall down in the form of the golden sequence, and sort of we spiral into form, and we come into form through this beautiful golden sequence that we know um, is evident in everything, that fractal, that eternal fractal. And it's just this beautiful cosmic symphony that I think this analogy is really coming into a great way, that I'm seeing a lot of people talk about, this cosmic symphony, that each of us are our own divine frequency, that we are all singing together. And we are doing this through all of the fractaling patterns that we were talking about seeing. You're finding patterns in everything. Everything is just, it's overwhelming with pattern and symbolism and threads for us to follow. And we are all singing together. And those planetary spheres have got those frequencies for us to look through. It's a beautiful lens that's there for us.
That's why the planets make sounds.
Mm. Everything is
Wow.
sound, isn't it? It's
Yes,
just
because it
all
is. That's why
a
sound is so
literal
incredibly
symphony.
powerful.
Yeah.
Huh?
Out. It's a literal symphony. It's
Yeah.
literally playing out and playing. And we've got to,
Wow. I just see the great spiral.
yeah.
I
It
see the
was a
great
beautiful.
spiral.
I'll have to find that for you and share that particular piece with you, because it also came with this beautiful AI piece of art that was sort of animated. It was really pretty and really touching and very easy, right? Like, I think as we connect more and we synthesize our information and we use analogy and we use correlation and we use experience to describe the nature of this oneness that's really, really amping up and really becoming apparent, people are not sure what to do with it. Um, but yeah, having these accessible symbols and these accessible analogies to go, whoa, yep, that makes so much sense. And something like a piece of poetry, like you know, she's she's offered us there. It's just beautiful to all of
To
these
piece it
ways.
together. Yes. And see how it flows, how it all flows together.
Mhm.
That is so beautiful. I really see that. And I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it like,
It's saturating us right now. I feel really saturated with this light that's coming through. I get so excited. And I also, I'm going to say it, have that fear that we're going to be disconnected. for some amount of time, and we're going to have to remember that we've got this saturation within us, and it's beautiful. We're all here. We're going to experience it together, this transformation, and so much of it's painful and so much of it's through fire. But I hope that we can remember.
Yes, and that we still have the ability to connect and communicate.
Yeah.
Through our very vessels, through our energy. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm. Well.
We simply must remember. We simply must play and dance and sing.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Those are the things that draw us together. Those are the vibrations that we can make across Earth, right? So celebrating together, being around fire together, being around water together. And I think these are things, as I watch, like we watch all of these groupings take place across the globe, and it's so beautiful, like people connecting for events like this, and people connecting for equinoxes and solstices or any other lunation or whatever it might be. There's people are connecting in these beautiful coherent groups of love and light, and it's happening more and more, and it's just happening every
And it's
day.
weaving, yeah, it's starting to weave through the earth, because we all, just like me and you, how we have that connection through the earth, there are many others that also have
Yeah.
the other person on the other side of the earth, and through these connections we are literally activating that, and it's weaving through the planet and creating these beautiful geometric shapes. And
Yeah.
as we become more aware of just how deeply connected we are through this fabric, sort of like the
Yeah.
scarf in a sense,
Yeah.
the stronger that weave becomes. And through that, that's where we have that, remembrance of just how really connected we are. We're just weaving a new paradigm in a sense. And
Absolutely.
yes, it's hard to put it into words.
Yeah, we talked about that before too, right? Like,
The harmonic magnetism,
yeah.
that it's like once one started, then another, then another, then another.
Mm-hmm.
And as people wake up to that connection, it just begins to weave throughout the earth.
Those
And
cogs are turning, and that oil, it just, I like this oil symbolism feels just really prevalent, as that's what it's doing. It's greasing those cogs, and it's or greasing the wheels, cogs moving through, and momentum starting up and awakening. Just keep
yes,
oiling the hinges.
it's like the nodes on the Metatron's cube, like we're waving the Metatron's cube,
Yeah.
and activating those nodes, oiling them.
Absolutely. Finding that dodecahedron that we were looking at here, the greatest bit of form that we've got, with that whole combination of each of those elements that make up this plane and this realm that we're in. Finding all of those, bringing those together, and just using it as an amplification for love and unity.
Yes,
It's a little 3D antenna.
it really is. It really is.
And it can be done with so much fun. Of course, like reverence is so important for the sacred and the divine. But so much fun and movement and play and light and life and movement specifically. Like I know that it's been really hard to move. Like you guys are in winter, but we're in a deep summer, and it's so hot to be able to move. Like it's just really sluggish for both of us, especially with these intense solar energies coming in. It just, there's a lot of rest that's important, but
Yes.
and being jovial with a smile while you lay there, completely incapacitated by the energy. I'm smiling or I'm singing.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to bring some light through like that. And remember to
There
lightheartedness, right?
Yes. Oh, yes. Because after all, that's why we are here, is to
Yeah.
find joy, enjoy life,
Yes.
enjoy this experience and all of these experiences.
Yeah. Don't take yourself too seriously. You'll never get out alive. That's Van Wilder.
Right.
Classic quote from a trash movie. It's so profound. I
Right.
love
Well,
it. A little like douchebag sorority wisdom. It was brilliant. But yeah,
yes.
we've got to be light, we've got to be silly. I love that. Those big energies that came through quite a few months ago now, like probably 12 months ago almost. Um, it was showing me like the jovial, jester, flexible, like energy, like the energy of the jester, and the Loki. Like, I know Loki's got bad connotations, but if you remember the Viking show and Floki, the character, he's such like a jester and mischief maker, and there's such fun in that. Like, it just really breaks it up, and I really really appreciate that energy in my life, that jester, mischief maker. Like, there's a difference between like just having fun, but like mischief to me really breaks down ego, because mischief is caused by deep boundaries and this real Saturnian thing. Like, mischief like breaks the rules more than just playing fun. So it's kind of like grating at the really rigid structure. And don't take yourself too seriously. Like, you got to remember to have a little bit of
Yes. That's
like,
why humor is so important and why
yeah,
it's so healing, because it helps keep you from
yeah,
becoming too rigid.
yeah. And I like the really good comedians. Like, I love stand-up comedy. It's not
Yes.
always easy to watch, but I like the really good guys like Ricky Gervais, the English guy. I don't know if you know him, but
Yes.
he's like
Yes, I hear.
so intelligent with his humor. He's got like
I
these
know.
layers to it where it's like it really gets you in like the really sensitive topics, but he does it in such an intelligent way that, and just that's my favorite thing. Like, I love that way of breaking the world down and breaking the world apart by like calling out the fucking pure evil that exists out there. Like, there's some like really gnarly shit, and it's like meeting that with like a oh my god kind of thing instead of this great fear. Like, there's something just powerful in that. I just like that energy a lot, that
Me too.
mischief
Me too.
making comedy kind of satire like
Me
stuff.
too.
It's good.
I know, because it reminds you not to take things so seriously, because people just take things so seriously these days. And, it's good to see that it's okay to, still have fun and
Yeah,
just not, yeah, so stuck in your ways.
yeah. Chill the fuck out, man. Like, it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at
Sorry.
you. It must be late there now. It's 20 to 4 here.
Well, I've been really working my butt off, and
Okay.
been up since
Working hard.
5:30 this
Got
morning.
a
Yeah.
JOB. What did you call that? What was the
Joy of
acronym?
being.
Joy of
Yeah.
being. We're going back to the working world. And that's another important thing Erica and I talked about, that integrating those systems, the ones that we sort of deterred from for a while, of some of those different, like talking about those hard structures, like things like our job in a system that we don't necessarily agree with, but bringing and injecting our energy into these things in these places, it's like that feels like sacred, good work, good, honest work,
It
like
does, because
it's
the place
crazy.
that I'm at now. That's exactly what it's
Yeah.
like, where there is it literally, all of that is happening, where we are still having to learn how to operate within the infrastructure,
Yeah.
but we're doing so in a way that brings joy and light and growth and
Mm.
healing. Like there's so much more to it. It's not just oh, I'm just coming here to work and make money.
Yeah.
It's like you really get to go there to grow and deepen
Yeah.
your spirituality and have these conversations with your coworkers, and it's
Yeah.
beautiful. I love it. I love it.
And that's how we like grate on those rigid systems, is by being there. You got to be at that structure to like weaken it, right? Like these old expectations of, JOBs and such. Like we're
Yeah.
there, I'll be there too. I'll go and do what I'm doing, and I'll do it over there if that's what it needs to take. Like Eriko talking about taking her work back through the education system. And, like it's pretty impressive when you can make doing something like Eriko does with her poetic work for the clairsenses, and taking that through a system like the education system, and going, I'm going to weave this back through your rigid structures now. Like I've come away from your structures and liberated myself from your structures, and I'm building and growing something really beautiful here, and I'm going to come and sow those seeds back through your system, and respectfully like weaken it.
Yes.
Respectfully transform it and change it into something that's more adaptable for the new world. Yeah,
Yes.
it's pretty good
That's
shit.
well said. Yeah, that's beautiful, because that's exactly what I'm witnessing too.
Yeah,
That's
I love
beautiful.
that, what you're doing. I think it's fantastic. And it's
Yeah.
such, like you're talking about, like just these new ways of doing, or meeting all different expectations, like old expectations of still providing, still doing these things for ourselves and for our families. And it's just, it looks so much different than what we might have thought. And it's,
It's not, you don't have to grind or like
yeah,
suffer or,
yeah,
have to sit there and work yourself to death to the point of misery,
yeah,
um, or
yeah,
actual death. Like
right,
it's in these kinds of spaces, you really do create opportunity for true lasting growth that can really
yeah,
change your life and just the way that you are, just everything, your
yeah.
experience here.
Absolutely. Seeing that scope, like some of when your light language was coming through in the meditation, I was seeing a lot of the reflective lights down here on the golden plate that I have as I was weaving. I could see, like, you can see the light reflections. And
Hmm.
that was talking so much about like the scope of our own heart light and our own individual light. Like, wherever we are and whatever we're doing, we're like illuminating whatever that space is and whatever that space needs to be, and we can go and follow that light. But yeah, we can just be with it and just look at the scope that that growing heart light reaches. It's beautiful.
Mm,
It
it
doesn't have
is.
to be maybe what we thought it had to be. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be confined, because
Yeah.
love is unconditional, it's
Just watch
unconditional.
where it goes. Beautiful.
Mm, that's beautiful.
Divine. Is there anything else that we want to go over or
Mm.
talk about or say or mention?
Yeah, I think that was it, and I need to go ahead and lay
Rest
down
now?
soon.
Yep,
Yeah, integrate. Yeah.
absolutely. All right. Well, so much love. I hope that if you've made it this far in watching, wherever we end up putting our chat today, that you enjoy it. And um, Jasmine and I, do this regularly ourselves and work together a lot. But if you would like to work with us, please let one of us know, because we do this personally. If there's something that you're needing and you need support with integrating, weaving, or opening up,
Or, or learning how to access or understand the light.
yeah, So obviously
because
that's a core part, isn't it? The light. And we're open to sharing others to find their modality with light.
yes, yes. And we're hoping to put together something that we can help share this
Yeah.
knowledge with more people in a workshop kind of format.
Yeah. We've got big, exciting things coming there that we will keep secret until they're ready. But it's very, very exciting. And please let us know if you want to work with us. But for
Yeah.
now, I'll let you say goodbye, Jazz. And
All
we'll
right.
love.
Bye. Much love.